Why most relationships fail before the first battle, the invisible breakdown that happens long before the conflict begins. Opening reflection. Most relationships don't fail during a fight. They fail before the fight ever happens. By the time conflict arises, by the time voices rise, defenses snap, or one person pulls away, the damage has often already been done, not through the fight itself, but through the quiet collapse of strategic foundation that happened long before. The truth is this: most relationships are lost not in moments of passion, but in the overlooked terrain of preparation. Like armies going to war without scouts, without maps, without knowledge of the landscape, people enter relationships without clarity of self, without shared definitions, and without training in how to fight together, not against each other. In love. Just as in strategy, preparation is the highest form of intelligence, and failure, more often than not, is not the result of how well you react, but how poorly you prepared. This episode will walk you through the quiet ways relationships weaken before they ever reach their first real test, so you can prepare, align, and engage with someone who actually wants to learn how to navigate the storms with you, not abandon ship when the first wave hits. Let's begin. 1. The illusion of no problems yet. One of the most common signs a relationship is vulnerable to collapse is actually this: everything's perfect, we never fight. To the untrained eye, this looks like success, but to a strategist, it's a warning. Conflict is not the enemy of love, it's the measure of its readiness, because the first argument, the first misalignment, the first hard moment will reveal what was never truly discussed, defined, or agreed upon. Many couples fall into early harmony because they are still performing, still pleasing, still merging into the other's needs without awareness of their own. This surface peace feels like unity, but it's often just a temporary ceasefire between two undeclared nations. And when the first disagreement arises, when the honeymoon haze lifts, what you discover is that you weren't actually aligned. You were just avoiding misalignment. There's a difference. Without deliberate early conversations about values, boundaries, triggers, and relational strategy, the first conflict will be a collapse, not a calibration. 2. No shared language of conflict. Imagine this: two nations with different languages go to war. No translators, no diplomacy, just instinct and emotion. That's what happens in most relationships during their first fight. People don't know how to interpret each other's emotional vocabulary. For one person, I need space might mean I'm trying to regulate so I don't lash out. For another, it means you're abandoning me. If you don't discuss what certain behaviors mean before they happen, the other person will make their own meaning, and most people assume meaning based on their own fears. The first argument becomes a war of projections, not a shared mission toward resolution. Strategic couples pre-negotiate their battlefield. They ask, what does anger look like for you? What helps you feel safe when you're triggered? What does repair mean to you after a conflict? What's your go-to defense, and how can I avoid escalating it? Most couples never have these conversations. They wait until conflict explodes, then scramble to patch together a strategy mid-battle. Too late. No general invents a plan while under fire. They study the terrain in advance. So must you. Misreading early compatibility as strategic alignment. Chemistry is not compatibility, and compatibility is not strategy. Early attraction creates a powerful illusion. We're so alike. We finish each other's sentences. We like the same movies. We never argue. But these are surface indicators. They do not measure your ability to handle pressure, disappointment, or long-term emotional negotiation. Real compatibility is tested when needs differ, not when they align. It's in the moment when one of you wants closeness and the other needs space, or when your ideas of loyalty, timing, or commitment don't match. Strategic alignment asks questions like, can we both stay calm when things get hard? Are we willing to learn each other's internal terrain? Do we both see love as a mutual strategy, or do we weaponize it? Most relationships fail because one or both partners mistake early harmony for lasting compatibility. But the storm always comes, and if the foundation hasn't been tested, it will crack. 4. Silent strategic mismatches. Here's a hard truth. You might be in love with someone who is not strategically compatible with you, not because they're wrong or you are, but because your long-term relationship strategies contradict. One of you believes that love means total transparency. The other believes that privacy is sacred. One of you sees disagreement as healthy. The other sees it as rejection. One of you wants to fight for the relationship. The other wants peace at any cost. These mismatches don't always show up right away. They're often hidden beneath attraction, passion, or comfort, but the first challenge reveals them. And when it does, most couples don't have the language or the honesty to name what's really happening: a strategic incompatibility. And here's where many people make a tragic error. Instead of addressing the strategic mismatch, they take it personally. You don't love me enough. You're trying to control me. You're overreacting. But the issue isn't love, it's approach. And when two people have fundamentally different approaches to handling emotional conflict, intimacy, or repair, it doesn't matter how strong the attraction is, the relationship will keep failing the same test. 5. The absence of pre-battle protocols. Think of elite teams, military units, rescue squads, championship duos. What do they all have? Protocols. Clear agreements for how to behave under pressure. Not rules to control each other, but shared systems to protect the mission when emotions rise. Couples need the same. Before your first fight, you should already know, what's our rule when one of us gets triggered? What's our timeout protocol? How do we de-escalate without shutting down? When do we revisit the conflict? Immediately, or after cooling off? Most couples have none of this. They rely on love and hope. But love without strategy is a house without architecture. It might feel warm and magical at first, but it won't survive the first storm. 6. When you don't know your own war map. The first battle is often lost not because of the other person, but because you don't know yourself well enough. You don't recognize your emotional patterns. You don't know what triggers you. You don't know what your boundaries are until they're violated. That means you can't communicate clearly. And when the fight happens, you either shut down, explode, or chase them with confusion. The battlefield becomes chaotic because the commander doesn't have a map. Emotional self-awareness is not optional. It's tactical necessity. If you don't know how you move in pain, how you defend, how you attack, you cannot strategize for peace, and the first fight will take you by surprise. Not because the other person was wrong, but because you weren't trained. Misaligned endgames. This is the final death blow. You fall for someone, you grow attached, but you never fully ask, where are we actually going? Some people want long-term partnership, some want casual connection, some want slow unfolding, some want acceleration. If your endgames don't align, conflict isn't just a temporary challenge. It becomes existential, because the fight isn't about what just happened, it's about what the relationship even is. This type of misalignment often reveals itself during the first serious disagreement. One person sees the argument as a necessary test to grow together. The other sees it as a sign to exit, not because either person is cruel, but because they had different visions of what this relationship was for. If your visions aren't aligned, every argument will feel like a referendum. Every difference will feel like a threat, and every moment of tension will be seen not as an opportunity to build, but as a reason to burn it all down. Closing insight. The first battle is not what ends most relationships. It's just the moment that reveals what was never built. The shared language, the strategic clarity, the emotional protocols, the alignment of endgames. These are not things you figure out after you fall in love. They are the very soil in which love is planted. If you don't build them, love won't survive the weather. Prepare well, choose wisely, and remember, a peaceful beginning means nothing if it was only built on silence and hope. What matters is whether your bond can strategize through fire, not just float through calm. If you're building love that can survive the storms, not just bask in the sunshine, subscribe to Strategic Intimacy. And if you want to go even deeper with us, become a member to support this work. We explore how to navigate love with power, intelligence, and calm. Because in relationships, just like in war, the ones who survive are not the loudest, but the most prepared. Next episode preview. Fighting fair isn't enough. Win without casualties. We'll go even deeper into how to resolve conflict in a way that doesn't leave emotional debris behind. We'll look at repair, pacing, strategy, and power shifts that allow love to win without needing to defeat your partner. Coming soon.